Hello, all. I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary. There were a few hard lessons I learned when I published my first book, Kingmaker. Although I thought the book came out okay, there were still quite a few things that I should have tightened up on. So today we're going to go over the 9 things that I learned while publishing Kingmaker and what I'm doing different this time around. Now remember, I am quite proud of Kingmaker. I thought it was a decent book, but there's always things you can change to make it even better. And all the things I learned during the Read See Masterclass and hanging out with a bunch of authors that read between the stars, I realized that I was lacking quite a bit. The first mistake I made when I was publishing Kingmaker is that I didn't put as much time into editing as I probably should have. Now, we did go through and read it a few times, and the story did change quite a bit from what it was in the first draft. I still could have done a lot more to tighten up the writing. And I'm not just talking about from a grammatical sense either. There was a few things that I could have been a little bit more descriptive on. So this time around, I'm using AutoCrit to help me find a few of the little tidbits of here and there that probably could be fixed while adding a few more details. AutoCrit is kind of a cool tool because it'll find all kinds of mistakes and redundancies and repeat words, cliches, strong writing, stuff like that. So I'm giving Shadows of Atlantic City quite the once over, and probably a second and third over. The second thing I learned while publishing Kingmaker is that I really could have used a map. As a fantasy author, you're building your own world, and not having an idea where everything is kind of makes it a pain in the ass. Essentially, I had to store all the information in my head, and now that I'm writing the second book, the world is getting a lot bigger. Would have been so much easier if I would have had even just a hand-drawn map. So this time around, while I'm working on Fury, which is the second book to Kingmaker, I'm using Incarnate to make that map. Now, Incarnate in its free version has quite a bit of possibility to it, and I have tried to export the map and import it into Readsy, and it worked just fine. So I can add maps to the next book of the different regions where the story takes place. This will help in all kinds of things, such as traveling distances and whatnot. Another mistake I made with Kingmaker is that I didn't celebrate the release like I wanted to. Now, granted, I have a lot of things going on in my life, and sometimes things slip through the cracks. But I really should have made more hoopla and pomp and circumstance for my first fictional book. I kind of feel like I robbed myself and my book. This time around, I am planning a release party for Shadows of Atlantic City, and I'm going to make a big deal of it. Another lesson I learned while publishing Kingmaker was that I didn't check the formatting very thoroughly. Now, granted, the formatting part of the Reedsy Studio does work fairly well. Checking the formatting would have helped me find all kinds of things like orphan words that were on a single page, or if the scene breaks were in the wrong spot. So when it comes down to Shadows of Atlantic City, I plan on using a print-ready PDF directly from Reedsy to make sure that the book looks decent. Not to mention that this time around I'm using Atticus to format the book, so I'm going to have a lot more options available. Plus, it'll give me a blog post and a video to make regarding Atticus, so it's a win. Another mistake I made with Kingmaker is waiting until the last minute to get a book cover. I waited for several months for someone to give me a book cover and didn't pan out, and so I had to crunch to do it myself. Luckily, I thought it came out okay. It was a lot of fun dressing up and going up to the Lookout Mountain to take the pictures, but it would have been a lot easier on me if I would have had that planned out months in advance. For Shadows of Atlantic City, I'm going to be working on it while I'm doing the writing sprints Monday through Friday, while everybody's reading the second draft. That should give me at least a week to work on the cover, and it shouldn't really take that long because I know pretty much what I want. And I'm no stranger to Photoshop. Another mistake that I made with Kingmaker was not requesting printed proofs. I should have requested a printed proof from Amazon just so that I could make sure that the cover and the formatting came out okay in paperback and hardcover formats. That would have saved me a lot of time and energy considering how I had to change the cover several times because it was too dark. Now it looks great, it's bright, and you can actually see the details, but I would have been able to figure all that out months before I actually did. This time around, I am ordering a printed proof before the book is released just to make sure that it all looks good in paperback and hardcover. That way, when it goes live, it looks as good as it does in my head. Another mistake I made self-publishing Kingmaker was paying $50 for a review from Readsy Discovery. I made a couple of videos about the experience and essentially using Discovery as more of content to do a review on. So I wrote a blog post and I did a video on reviewing the Readsy Discovery process, but I do feel that it was a waste of $50. The reviewer didn't seem like they actually read the book, and You get a landing page and a few cool things, but nothing really came out of it. And so I don't think it was worth $50 to me, aside from the fact that I have my own blog. So I already built a landing page specifically for my books. So $50 for a review? Nah. I doubt I'll ever do it again unless I'm reviewing another company that does reviews, but for the time being, not going to happen. Another big mistake that I made with Kingmaker is not enough marketing. I mean, essentially, I just threw it up on Amazon and posted a few times on social media and crossed my fingers. We got to do a lot more than that. Truth is I sold 9 books, 6 of them being Kingmaker at Read Between the Stars, and I don't think I've sold 6 books throughout the entire year. That's what happens when you don't actually market your book. No one's going to read it if they don't know it exists. This time around, I am diving into all kinds of different marketing methods, and I'm going to be using it as content like everything else. So I'll be able to show how the Facebook ads work, Google ads I'm have to play around with, Amazon ads. I've done it before with Freelancer's Tale, but I don't know. We'll have to see how all that goes. But I plan on pushing the hell out of this book. The fun part is trial and error of all the different methods, because not every method is going to work perfectly for every author. There are too many moving parts in play to say any one technique is guaranteed. And those who say otherwise are just trying to get your time and money. Every author is different. Every book is unique. And lastly, another one of the bigger mistakes I made with self-publishing Kingmaker was I didn't have a savings account for all the different expenses that I wanted to put money into. Editors, book covers, that all cost quite a bit. I don't have thousands of dollars at my disposal. So this time around, I'm set up a savings account on the bank, and I'm going to put a little bit of money from each paycheck into it, so that when it comes time to do some of the bigger services, probably not in this next book, but in Fury, definitely going to have some cash to be able to throw at some of these services. Besides, it'll give me content to write a review. So there you have it. Those are 9 hard mistakes that I made while I was publishing Kingmaker. Don't get me wrong, I love my book. I'm excited for it. But if I would have addressed even half of the things that I listed today, it would have came out to be a much better book. But there's always next time. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. For more videos about self-publishing, blogging, freelance writing, or anything else I cover, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think it's going to do it for me today. I'm going to get back to editing my book. I'll see you next time.